I'm an ADA holder, everyone. I'm invested in this cryptocurrency called Cardano. It's as simple as that. I'm just this guy out here pressing record right now, recording a video, tracking price of a cryptocurrency, tracking money, my investment with you, ADA holders out there. And if you are like me, you're an ADA holder, there's a good chance you're wondering the same thing I'm wondering, as Cardano right now hovers around 50 cents. The crypto market's trying to put in a bottom, trying to form a bottom. What that looks like, we can speculate, but wondering how much lower could Cardano go? How much longer will this last? Or will there be a bounce? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. I started that intro because it's just like, I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm on YouTube a lot, posting content. Go through my comments, everyone. My content about ADA, about money, about my interests in Cardano, it triggers people. It baffles my mind. I don't even know what to do with it as these comments pile up and these people, these keyboard warriors. I know I shouldn't talk about the negativity or whatever, and it's not only that, it's like the grand scope of the crypto community. Cardano has a lot of haters, and it's extremely weird. It's weird to hate on somebody's cryptocurrency preference and investment thesis, but it's really weird that Cardano in particular, on a larger scale, has so much against it. It makes me bullish. It actually is part of what makes me so bullish on Cardano, but it's just weird. And it's kind of tiring to create content in that environment. It's easier when it's bullish because there's, the noise of the positivity and everybody's kind of happy that price is going up, kind of cancels out the haters. But in these bear markets, everybody, and I was in the 2018 bear market creating content, YouTube content, but the audience wasn't as large. And so it's a different type of scream in my ear. And I just wanted to vent that. And I think maybe if you're an ADA holder, maybe you're not creating content, you might be seeing that anyway, like feeling that just in general on social media. So I'm going to, put it aside for now. Wanted to vent a little bit, but let's talk about Cardano. Let's talk about ADA price in particular. My main thing right now that I'm wondering, which is how low can it go? Some interesting data on the screen to really compare actually to the last bear market low. And we're going to look at that towards the end of the video. There's going to be a timestamp as well. And it's going to be from Peyton over at Rare Bloom. There's a live Cardano event, everybody, in October. And I have a clip of Peyton for you all, for Crypto Capital Venture audience, just talking about it. Highly encourage you to look into that video, to look into the event, and to go to the event if you can. But we're going to talk about that in a few. Let's dive into the charts. Weekly chart, Cardano. You might be like, what is this? This is 2018 in November. November 2018, cryptos were crashing. For context, here's Bitcoin escaping after sideways at 6,000 range, this 20-week moving average. Important point for Bitcoin, kind of escaping that area, right? So this is November, and we're looking at 45% to the downside. If we want to go up here and actually measure this exact candle where there was already separation from the 20-week moving average, right? That candle, the separation when it wicked, was around 45%. And so I want to go to ADA in that same time frame, and we just look. That's the same weekly candle right there. Actually, this is the November 12th weekly candle, but that major capitulation for Cardano came actually in the next weekly candle, and it was a 65% separation. So this massive separation from the 20-week moving average, 20% more separated than Bitcoin, happened in the last bear market. Now, after that happened, you can see Cardano actually continued to the downside. So here's the end of the wick, this white line that we see on the screen. And Cardano continued to the downside. If we just measure this move, right, another 15 or so percent. So that's kind of what the bottom formation for Cardano looked like then. Now, if we go over and we scroll to the charts, and we're going to dig into the charts too on the daily and the 6 hour for what's going on right now. But if we scroll in the charts now, we see there's just a lot of similarities. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but a lot of similarities in terms of crypto markets forming a bottom back here in the last bear market and the crypto markets move right here. And even on the weekly candle for Cardano, very similar as well. If we're looking at the separation from the 20-week moving average this time, look at this, around 60% overextended. And if we want to say, well, let's say Cardano does what it did in the last bear market and actually keeps going another 15% to really start forming the bottom, what would that look like? And that's the lower 30-cent range. Now, could it be 20%? Absolutely. That would be around 30 cents exactly. So I think we could just safely say, even though we've hit the 50-cent target we're going to look at, we could safely say if crypto markets in general need more bottoming out space and more time to bottom out, there could be continued formation to the 30-cent range. And there's a lot of people talking about 30 cents in general in more of a positive way, saying, I want 30 cents, right? Like 50 cents isn't cheap enough for them. They want 30 cents as well. But I think on the larger macro picture, I think it's good to have a snapshot of this in terms of speculation and speculating, well, how much lower could it go? What could it look like? We could take historical context. And with that, don't forget, Cardano is extremely oversold in terms of historical RSI momentum. It's lower than it's ever been. And if we look at Bitcoin charts, and this is important, Bitcoin also, if we look at Bitcoin, oversold in territories of bear market lows. So in terms of forming a bottom on the macro, I think we're there. It's just kind of a matter of how much space to the downside does Bitcoin need, do crypto markets need? And a lot of this, the S&P 500, traditional markets, all of that, NASDAQ, we need to take that into account because there wasn't talks of a major recession happening all the way back here in that bear market low. So there's a lot of risk here. And this is just data I'm sharing. This is not financial advice. I need to say that. It's data that I'm tracking because I'm wondering myself and I'm trying to find out myself the best entries on the macro, right? So let's start digging in now. Now that we've established that, let's start digging in a little bit. And this is what I want to talk about. So if we zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, we've hit, and this is insane still, we've hit the 50-cent target that we've tracked literally all year long. And even most recently, we've talked about, hey, hitting that 50-cent target, we're going to look for structure. We're going to look for support. We're going to look for a bounce because this is what we got at 80 cents. And it's what we get often in any targets that are hit. Some type of structure around that area. And just look at this, everybody. Is it no coincidence that we're getting that structure right here on the daily chart, just right around 50 cents? If you go to the 6-hour chart, we start seeing, well, what does that structure look like? And this is kind of a hopium in the short term. This is a 6-hour zoomed in chart. This is a hopium perspective, but on this chart, there's also some downside as well that we're going to talk about. But the hopium on the 6-hour in the very short term is if going into tomorrow, into this new week, crypto markets continue to the upside, traditional markets continue to the upside, there is just this clear inverse head and shoulders with a downward sloping neckline, right? And this could be it right here, this right shoulder. It could be that this right shoulder actually comes lower one more time and we're dipping into the 40s before this plays out. But either way, it's in play with kind of the 80-cent range target, which is interesting because that's that long-term target that took months and months and months to hit before we got that structure. So the 80-cent target for this inverse head and shoulders, if it played out, would most certainly act as some type of resistance, or if Cardano explodes through it, some type of bullish confirmation. That's what we'll be watching on that chart. Now to the downside, it goes without saying the risk to the downside, especially if markets open red this week. The risk to the downside is the very simple picture of what we've already experienced. It's lower lows and lower highs. Even on the 6-hour chart, you just see this constant resistance at these moving averages. And then going to the daily chart, look at this. We have the 50-day moving average right around 92 cents. And then we have the 71 cents area is the 20-day moving average. This is to say, for Cardano to even get back into the game in terms of the bullish macro reversal, it's still a 40 to 80% move away now. That's how down Cardano is. It's still a 40 to 80% move to the upside to get there. Now, the way this could change is obviously if Cardano actually just is kind of sideways, maybe we come down a little bit more, but just sideways in general, no more capitulations, then these moving averages are going to get pulled into Cardano, and then we're going to start seeing how Cardano is closer to these moving averages, starts testing them. And it's always been kind of the foundational piece to this reversal story, hasn't it? In this whole entire downtrend, it's us tracking these moving averages and the resistance that they pose to Cardano. And so we have to just continue to watch closely with our charting binoculars these moving averages and how they start closing in on Cardano, because right now they're up there, right? Cardano is very overextended to the downside from those moving averages. But confluent with those moving averages is kind of the point, is this 80-cent range, right? And remember, the 80-cent target is that inverse head and shoulders. So that could be the case where Cardano's just, and this could take some time, by the way. If Cardano did get a breakout, right, that move to 80 cents range, that's a big move. To give you context, again, on this 6-hour chart, we're looking at a move of 50%, right? So that's not like an overnight move, but it could just be an amazing week for Cardano or something. There could be volatility in that move where Cardano's coming up into the 60s, comes back down, and then it's just like finally hits its targets, maybe later in May sometime, or in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. These things we have to track. This is why I do basically daily videos. But that's Cardano on the short term to the upside that we'd want to look for in case there is a breakout to the upside. But again, to the downside, it's kind of like, all right, here we are on the daily. We need to patiently wait, and this is it. It's a waiting game with anticipation of breakout to the upside and anticipation of continued downside. But we have to wait for these moving averages to at least get closer to Cardano before we can start tracking any type of confirmations. But right now, on the daily chart, let's actually chart this on a 6-hour, and let me remove this just to kind of see downside support. This swing low, kind of that capitulation that we've seen, to current swing high, which was just 2 days ago. This support area is what we want to continue to see. We continue to track these higher low supports to see if we get that confirmation of bullish support, a 618 around 47 cents, a 786 around 42, 43 cents. So Cardano could technically come down here, put in a higher low from this swing low, and then make its move to the upside. And once again, that could be what the inverse head and shoulders looks like, right? Something like that before Cardano's breaking out. So these are things we have to kind of track in real time. But I think really the weekly chart is really what provides me the most value. And I'm sitting here now too, just like many of you, I'm sure. It's like, man, now that we hit the 50-cent target, it's like, how much lower can ADA go? And the reason why it's such a big question for me is I did a video, and I think it was actually, I showed a clip. What was it? Was it January or December? A long time ago when we really started talking about the 50-cent target. And I basically was saying when Cardano was above $1, $1 to 50 cents is the biggest accumulation area for me. And I have been accumulating Cardano. And looking back, it is almost like, man, I should have just waited for this capitulation and kept all of that fiat waiting for this. It's just, you don't know if it's going to happen. That's why you average in. And now I'm in the same kind of boat where I'm just like, could this be the bottom? Or like, are we going to kind of put in a similar move to the bear market low where it does go a little lower? And then I'm kind of like, does that 15% difference really make a difference? Does that 20% difference really make a difference? So this is me, everybody. I'm trying to find and identify my approach here. You can't get it perfect. This is risky. That's why really at the end of the day, the most simple and most popular, it seems, in crypto approach is the dollar cost average. But this is just how I go about it. I like to just kind of average in, and when my buying fingers are feeling, nice and warmed up, just buy. Or if I'm feeling froggy, I leap, as my buddy Ed would say. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it, and I'm just tracking it, everybody. I'm just watching, trying to plan the best I can, because at the end of the day, none of us know. I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen next. I'm here to track it with you and make the most sound decisions possibly that we could possibly make according to our own risk appetites. And that's what we do. And we'll continue doing that. So I was at Best Buy yesterday and I met this dude, O'Shane, and what a cool dude. He came up, he walked by actually, and he's just like, you're a YouTuber. And I was like, how do you know? And he's like, how do you think I know? So this was extremely rare for me because I was just out in public and he recognized me. And I'm bringing this up for two reasons. Number one, it was encouraging. It was so awesome to just meet someone out there, to meet one of you guys, really. And it was so encouraging to me because in the comments, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's just a bunch of hate and there's a bunch of negativity. And it's like sometimes that's like really bright in my face. And like I said, the screaming of it is so loud in my ear to read through those comments and to just shake this dude's hand and take a selfie with him. Extremely encouraging. And I've had on my mind this thought of community and just knowing you all in a more real type of environment. And I kind of want that. I like that. And so it was really cool to meet O'Shane. I don't know if he'll see this video, but shout out to you, dude. It was great meeting you. God bless you. But pivoting to the second point of bringing this up, the Rare Bloom event in October is literally a Cardano event that I want to go to so bad. In my personal life and with our family right now, we have so much going on. I do not think it's going to be able to work. And I want to go so bad though, because I think a lot of you might be there. And there's just a lot of people that will be there, that I know will be there, that I want to meet, including Peyton, who's on the team of Rare Bloom, who's doing this. And I'm going to show you a clip right now, basically of Peyton just describing and going over what this is, and just to support them, to support the community, and support Cardano. This is why I'm doing this. This is not sponsored at all. I wanted to do this because this is literally something I want to go to. And if you have the opportunity to, check it out. And here's Peyton. So everybody have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.
Hello, my name is Peyton, and I actually run a Cardano YouTube channel called Big Pay. I've interviewed Charles Hoskinson before, Ben Gortzel, Sunday Swap, and many other great projects adding value to the Cardano ecosystem. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for Dan for allowing me to come on here. Today we're going to be talking about the Rare Bloom, which is a Cardano community event hosted for the community, by the community. And without Dan giving me this opportunity, I wouldn't be so happy today. So thank you, Dan. I've always loved the channel. I've always loved the TA. But let's jump right into it. At the Rare Bloom, my team and I's mission is to produce the event that feels like home for the Cardano community, a place where friends meet, relationships are formed, and where careers are started. New companies are born, and where existing businesses can showcase products, grow users, and attract new talent, a place to learn and a place to teach. When it comes to the Rare Bloom, what I'm most excited for is the people, the Cardano community members that are coming to this event, the builders. Most people that I've talked to in the Cardano community, they're willing to educate. And, as someone who's willing to learn, that is a great opportunity, and I've learned from many of them. One of the greatest days, of my life so far that I'm looking forward to is the day that I walk down, the Singularity lane where all of the Singularity Net project boosts are there, and I'm shaking hands with Ben Gortzel and shaking hands with some of their team members that I've talked to for the past 2 years. And then right next to that, the next lane over, you're going to have Sunday Swap and Ada Handle and IOG and, all of the biggest and best projects that I've seen in the Cardano community are coming to this event. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to actually, create this because, a year ago, we didn't have Alonzo, we didn't have smart contracts, we didn't have people building, and projects didn't have the ability to do what they're doing now. And now that that ability is here, we are hosting the first ever event where, we can celebrate this and not only celebrate, but learn to build infrastructure for a better future. This is actually being hosted in Denver, Colorado on October 14th and 15th. It's actually 20 minutes away from an international airport, and this is to suit the needs of people flying in, globally, because the Cardano community, it is global. And we actually have hotel rooms at a highly discounted rate through our website. However, they are limited, so I would act now if you're interested in coming. And the convention center and the Gaylord Rockies, it's incredible. It really is. There's a lazy river, there's a pool, there's a spa. It's really a great place for the family, especially while you're getting education from Ben Gortzel in the expo area. Tickets can actually be purchased now in both USD and ADA. We felt as a Cardano event, it was very important to utilize the Cardano blockchain. So we actually built a custom software on the site that accepts both forms of payment. And on top of that, we're not going to just stop there when it comes to utilizing the Cardano blockchain. Each ticket that you purchase through us will actually be an NFT ticket. So both the VIP and the GA ticket, they both have a NFT associated with them, but we did not stop there. On top of that, you also get one random additional NFT with the purchase of the GA ticket. And it's random from one of our projects that are actually coming to the event and making NFTs for us. For example, we actually have NFTs from Ben Gortzel. We have NFTs from Claymates. We have a lot of the projects that are coming are creating NFTs, and you will get one of those NFTs at random with the GA ticket, and with the VIP ticket, you get all of those partner NFTs. Cardano has often been called a ghost chain in the past, and the rare bloom and the commercial interest that we have and all of the people that are coming prove to me and the rest of cryptocurrency that Cardano is not a ghost chain, and we are really on to something special here. We're at the cusp of, really the Cardano explosion. We see it every day. The utility is now here. And thank you guys so much for watching this and viewing this. I would love to see you at the event. Feel free to join our Telegram down below. We have sponsorship opportunities. We have opportunities for people to come with booths and so much more. Again, thank you guys so much. I'd love to see you there. And thank you again to Dan for letting me come on.